Hi everyone, welcome back to our first official session, which is ironically going to be on cool season vegetables when it's a beautiful day out, which is why I decided to do this outside. If you hear some cheeps and crows, those are just from my chickens who are walking around happily enjoying the nice warm weather after we started out with rain today. So let's get to it and discuss some of the vegetables that you can start in the ground right now. Cool season vegetables technically could have been probably started a couple weeks ago here, but you haven't missed the window yet. Here in Tulsa, it's kind of difficult to determine sometimes what our weather patterns are going to be like. So here, you just have to gauge a little bit as to when things can go in the ground. And it looks like even though it's beautiful today, it's going to be below freezing tomorrow night. So that's why you don't want to put any warm weather things in the ground right now unless you have frost protection on them, which we can talk about in a different series. So let's just kind of go down the list. The first one I want to talk about are beets. I brought some beet seeds. These guys are great to direct sow in the ground. Once they're in there, they're pretty easy. They take a couple weeks sometimes to really germinate because they have a tough outer shell to them. But they come in all different colors. They're delicious roasted in salads or pickled. And like I said, those can go right in the ground in rows right now. You'll eventually want to space them about 4 inches to 6 inches apart, depending on the variety. Next up, we're going to talk about broccoli. I have a couple times. Waltham 29 is going to be a pretty standard one. This type is called early purple sprouting. Early purple sprouting is actually one that does better over winter, so we'll grow it all summer long here, and then coming up this winter, I'll add a little frost protection for it, and we should get more purple sprouts next spring. In the meantime, broccoli leaves are edible, and so are the stems, so you can enjoy those while you're waiting for your florets to form. For the Waltham 29, that's probably going to get a good head of broccoli on it kind of close to midsummer, since it's going in the ground pretty soon here. And I have seedlings started for those guys that I'm about to move outside. Cabbage is going to grow really similar. Cabbage is another cool season vegetable that's great to start inside along with the broccoli, and we'll talk about cauliflower up next. Because they do need a long growing period, but they don't love the heat. So that's a great one to plant early here in Tulsa, and then follow up with one of our warm season vegetables, which we'll talk about in another upcoming video. Cauliflower, I have Snowball Y. This is a really traditional variety, very good. But there's lots of different varieties of cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower now. They come in all shapes and colors. Some of them mature early, some take a long time. So read your seed packets well, and if it doesn't suit you, you can probably find a variety that does. So next up, we're going to talk about leafy greens, which ironically, I have 2 purple ones that I'm growing right now. This is bok choy and purple kale. Greens come in such a variety of colors now. So if you want to add color and some interest to your garden, which I like to do, I like to make my vegetable garden bright and pretty, these are a great way to do it. Both kale and bok choy like the cool weather. Bok choy will be harvesting before it gets hot. Kale we can probably get through the summer with. We'll just trim it back and keep it healthy so that we'll get more tasty leaves come fall. And another one with some frost protection that you can overwinter here. Next up is peas. Again, an easy direct sow in your garden. Space them about 6 inches apart. These guys do need a trellis. They're climbers, so you'll get good pea production if you have a nice sturdy trellis for them. The leaves and stems of these guys are also edible, as well as the flowers. So early on, even if you don't have the pods yet, they make a beautiful addition to your salads. Radishes are next. So radishes I love. I always end up overplanting these, and I have a great radish soup recipe because we always have so many. But as you can see, these guys come in a ton of different colors. I've had some that are black, some that are purple. Again, I like to add variety to my garden and my dinner table, but these are super easy to grow. They'll be up in about a month and ready to eat. So some of the earliest things that you can start sowing from your vegetables. These are always fun to plant. Carrots are next. Again, colorful carrots. These are purple. They come in varieties of red and white, obviously orange. Some of them take as little as 18 days to mature. These guys are going to be, let's see, it looks like about 60 days out. These are kind of more solid variety. They get a little bit larger, but you can really plant carrots to suit your needs. And these are great, as well as the beets, to succession plant in and of themselves. So start some this week, start some next week. This goes with the radishes as well, so that you have a week apart harvest so that you're not getting inundated with all of them at one time. And the last thing we'll talk about, and I unfortunately don't have a very showy package, but these are turnips. Turnips and rutabagas grow really well here. They get big bulbs, they have beautiful showy foliage. They take up some space, but they're really surface vegetables, so they don't go very deep. They are delicious roasted, they're delicious mashed. So these guys are great. I usually plant some in the spring and then again in the fall. So that's just a really quick overview. If any of you have any questions for me, anything that you're thinking of planting, that you're wondering if it's too late to plant, I encourage you to ask in the comments, because this is kind of an exciting time of year for me, exciting time for vegetable gardeners. So I hope you're utilizing days like this when you're stuck at home to get started on your spring garden. So thank you all, and we'll see you at our next video.